Hey guys, so for this next video I had some footage left over that I was planning on putting on a different video, but the other video just ended up getting really long, and so I decided to take this footage and put it into a new video. And so this is going to be kind of a shorter video, and it's just going to be a TIG torch breakdown, just so that I can kind of show you what some of the parts of the TIG torch are, what some of the numbers are on there, and a couple of things that you need to keep an eye open for if you are buying consumables for your TIG torch. So, hope you guys enjoy, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Okay, let's talk about the parts of your TIG torch. So, I've got my TIG torch here currently disassembled so that I can show you everything. Now, when you're doing TIG torches, you've got all sorts of different consumables that will go to that torch, and you want to get looking on your torch. So that's going to be a hard number to see, and it's upside down. See if I can get this in the light. Okay, right there you see a WP26. I don't remember off the back of my head what the WP is. That's kind of like a model number. So like if this was a Miller torch, it would be a, you know what, I actually don't remember the Miller numbers. Anyway, don't worry too much about this, worry about the number. So this number is a torch series. So this one is a series 26. Now, the other part you got to remember, this torch is, well, pretty big. That is because this torch is what's called an air-cooled torch. It doesn't have any water or coolant or anything like that running through it. It is all cooled by the gas, okay? And the gas is argon. So, it's big because it's using surface area to let the gas pull heat out of the torch to keep the torch from being damaged. So, this is a Series 26. I hope you can see it in there. This is a Series 26 air-cooled torch. Now, the torch that I use at work when I'm TIG welding for 8 hours a day is a Series 20 water-cooled torch. So, I don't have any of the water cooling components yet, but if you have the water-cooled one, you'll have a, well, it's basically a radiator with a motor in it, but a water cooler that you will hook up to your machine, and I'm going to show you here. You'll notice I only got the one line going to my torch. Again, air-cooled, so all this is moving is air. But on a water-cooled torch, you'll have 3 lines. One for your gas and power, one for cold water into the torch, and one for hot water out of the torch. And the cold and hot go back to the chiller motor, where, again, it functions basically like a radiator and just removes heat from that. Air-cooled torches, you don't want to run with a ton of amperage, okay? The water-cooled torches are made to pull a lot more heat out of the torch to protect your torch. So, this particular model is actually a 200 amp air-cooled torch. Again, it's so big so that there's more surface area inside the torch for the air to pull that heat out. The water-cooled torches are a lot smaller. But again, I don't have the water cooler on yet, and I don't have a water-cooled torch. So, one of these days when I do get a water-cooled torch for this, I will be sure to show you. But, the reason that I bring that up, all of your consumables here. So this here is called a collet body, and this here is called a collet. This is your gas lens and your tail. All of your consumables go to a torch series. So, you need to make sure you know what series your torch is. Again, this one's a Series 26. And you need to know whether your torch is air-cooled or water-cooled. Again, this one's air-cooled. So, if I ever need a new collet body or a new collet, Or this one's a 3/32 collet. Say I want to go get an 1/8 inch collet. I want a bigger tungsten in there. I need to get an 1/8 inch collet for a Series 26 air-cooled TIG torch. I know when I first started looking for consumables and everything, a lot of that confused me for a while. So there always should be that number on your torch that will tell you what series it is. Now, there's a whole bunch of different styles of torch. This one's pretty basic, but you've got torches where the head will flex that you can put into different positions. Some of them have like almost a little ratchet mechanism there so that you can flex that one way or the other and lock it in. There's also what they call pencil torches, where instead of having this angled bend on here, it's just a straight shot out. Really nice for getting into some of the tight places. But there's all sorts of different torches out there. Make sure you know what one you have. This is not a flex head, so if I try and bend it, it will break. Okay? A great word that I heard from someone in regards to flex heads. Usually there'll be like a little F on here or a FH, you know, something to denote flex head. Mine doesn't have that. Mine has a WP. So since I don't have the letter F on here, I'm not going to F with it, least I F with myself and break the torch. So, water-cooled, or air-cooled, simple torch, no flex head. Don't test your torches. These things get expensive. You don't want to break them by accident thinking that you have a flex head when you don't. Now, real quickly, can I just... there we go. So for those of you who've never seen a torch disassembled before, this here is what the Series 26 looks like. Now, Everlast, so this is the stock torch that came with my Everlast machine, my 200 amp Everlast machine. Everlast has been kind enough to put some wrapping along the bottom and shrink wrap it, keep it all nice and purty. There's a nut right here underneath the shrink wrap. I don't know if you can quite tell that, but there's one big old nut under there, and that's what this whole assembly up here screws into. So if I ever need to replace this head, I'm going to have to cut all of Everlast's pretty shrink wrap here, which I don't want to do, and hopefully I'll never have to replace this head so that I can take that off. Make sure you know what attachment you have, because this Series 26 will not fit on, say, let's see, well, I think there's a Series 17 air-cooled out there. The Series 17 has a smaller attachment. So, I wanted to bring that up. If you're going to be changing torches, like significantly changing them, okay, from one series to another, not all series are interchangeable. This one, I believe, doesn't interchange with anything. I could be wrong about that, but I believe the 26 with the 200 amp specifically has this bigger nut on here to allow for more gas flow. So, I can't exchange this torch head with anything else with this fitting. So, this is going to say a Series 26. And if we get a water-cooled, hopefully we'll be able to go in there and show you as well. There you go. You can kind of see that nut under the shrink wrapping. And then that just slides right back on. Pretty slick there. Everlast was really cool and also sent this denim liner too. I kind of like this thing. Now, other parts. Again, I mentioned this is the collet body. So, this is going to go in that end of the torch. Your tungsten's going to be going in through here. So, you put that in, and that just screws right on in. And then you have your collet body. This is the piece that will hold the tungsten. This is a 3/32 collet, meaning there's a little machined hole in there that is designed to hold a 3/32 tungsten. You can kind of see, if I can get it to stop shining too much and focus, there's little slots, little slits right in here, and this end is beveled. So this end, the beveled end, goes down into the body like so. And then you have your tungsten, which goes in there. Make sure everything's all slotted in. And pops out there. And then the tail goes on the back end of that. And then you screw that in. Make sure you get a good seat on the tail, because that's going to keep your gas in. Now, make sure your collet body's tight. The collet body and the tail kind of share the same threads in here. So if you don't have one tight, you can over tighten the other one. And then to lock it in, you just tighten the tail, take your gas lens, put your gas lens on, and that screws onto the collet body. And then adjust your tungsten stick out to where you want it, and you're good to go. And voila, good to go.